What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Man, you guys know what to do when you get here. Drop your city and state in the chat. I love bringing Tech Tuesday to you guys. It provides an opportunity for you guys to learn about different careers, different opportunities, and also get to work with some amazing people. So, let me introduce you to a few people on the squad tonight on the panel while you drop your city and state in the chat. We got Mr. Sub 3639 live.
Hello.
And we got Mr.
Hello.
Marvin Witt. Go ahead and kick it off, Sub-Zero.
Yeah. So Marvin, I'll introduce Marvin shortly, but I'm Subzero3639. Live is my channel, but I was Subzero3639 and it got terminated. Thank you, YouTube. But anyway, um, I just come up here and I just want to introduce, our academy, which is Lifting the Veil IT Academy. I started this academy on a whim. Basically, it was just me talking about how to get in IT, and then I just say, "Hey, man, hit me up if you want to learn. I'll teach a couple of people." And next thing I knew, I got like 8 people signed up, and I was off to the races. I taught 3 4 months, then I retaught it again and try to reinforce some things. Made another announcement, and out of that first class, I think I got like maybe 5 or 6 people got jobs. It was pretty successful. And from there, I took a break and I came back later, did another class. And I kept saying, man, this is going to be my last class because this is a lot of work and a lot of time. It's time consuming. And, I want to help people, but I can't keep doing it. But the thing was, I kept getting calls from people and I couldn't tell people no. And a lot of people are out here right now hurting and struggling. They don't know how they're going to pay their bills and they just trying to find a way. And I remember being that guy when I was a produce manager waiting on tables. What waiting on? I was a produce manager, and I got, you know, just was making like $430 a week after taxes. That's what I brought home every week, every Tuesday, because Winn Dixie was the grocery store I was working at, and they would pay every Tuesday. And I couldn't get ahead like that. I was like, man, I can't do nothing with this little $400 a week. They had me getting up at like 5 in the morning just to get there at 6, and then I had to turn around and deal with people being disrespectful and talking to me all kind of ways and saying different things. So it was just a rough situation. And I wanted to get into IT. I had a brother that was doing real well in it. And long story short, I had a suspended license. I was driving it, but I had a suspended license, went to Atlanta on a suspended license, got locked up. They impounded my car, ran the serial number on every piece of electronics in my car, tested my hydroxycut pills to see if they were drugs, and then tried to hold me for 3 weeks before I could ever see a judge. This is what they did to me in Henry County, right? Stockbridge. And that's when I was like, man, this is it. I don't know what to do. I prayed about it. I really broke down that night in the cell, like, Lord, what's going on? I'm trying to do everything the right way and trying to get a skill set that I can really get out here and sustain myself and change my life. And, God provided me with an organization that, was able to help me get the skills that I learned. And from there, I was able to get a job, making some real substantial money. And I just from there I just never looked back. But my rate has doubled since then. But that was still a lot of money coming from cold turkey making $400 a week to $1,600 a week, direct deposit every Friday. And I was like, man, that helped. I was able to pay off my tickets and get everything together. But it would have took me years to pay off the tickets because it was $14,000 to pay all the lawyer fees and 4 and 5 driving while suspended while I was in Alabama and one in Georgia, which just that one stop was $5,000 plus lawyer fees.
You
Go
just doing
figure.
whatever you want to do
But
out in the road, Tom. Just driving.
yeah, I was like, man,
Legal
come on,
license.
they getting crazy with these prices. But anyway, I was able to pay all that. I was able to save that money, pay those tickets, blow by blow. I would pay a ticket a week, and I paid off, got my license back reinstated, and I was able to get my life together. And what allowed me to do that was this skill set. And I knew that there were a lot of people out there struggling, and I didn't want them to have to go through what I went through to try to get into this skill set because I wish I had somebody that would mentor me. And I said, if I ever have had a mentor, I wish they could mentor me in a way where they'll give me what I need, tell me the ins and outs, and also a mentor. They'll tell you, hey, being black, being a black man, being a black woman in these environments, oftentimes not just black, but oftentimes just anyone. A lot of times there are different cultural things that you need to be aware of. Landmines that you may step on, and basically throughout my class, I give you a real raw, down to earth perspective. It's not just me now, and you. Oh, I thought I dropped my mic. Yeah, but anyway, it's not just me at this moment, right? But that's what we do at Lifting the Veil. We try to we're down to earth. We try to give you. I always tell every class we give you our heart and soul. We're gonna give you the best of what we have. I've been coming on here for a while now. I'm trying to make sure that you guys understand. If you aren't making over $100,000, you probably need to schedule a free consultation on this website right here. If you scroll down, you'll see it on the left. It says book consultation. You click that, that'll allow you to be able to go in and start talking about, asking questions about whatever. I can talk to you personally. I can give you my cell phone number, which I will before this video's up. But without further ado, let me introduce one of my students who now is a mentor who has taught people and they've gotten jobs. And his name is Marvin. Now, Marvin has a brother. They both took my class at the same time, right? They both did well on they did well on the first section. And the way we work things at Lifting the Veil is very rigorous. And so what I try to do is I try not to just let you pass an interview unless you show me that you're competent. Even you may answer the questions and not answer them confidently, and I'll still fail you. Because you can answer a question, but if it takes you 5 minutes to answer that question, that should be very simple, then what difference does it make that you got it right? So him and his brother, Maurice, they came in, they worked out diligently, they did their thing, they kept coming back, they were failing on the second piece, and then finally they stayed away for about 2 weeks, and then they came in there, and I remember it being one of the best SSIS ETL integrations interviews that I had ever given. I mean, they knew it like the back of their hand. They dominated. Then 2 weeks after that, they passed SSRS, and that was it. And they were off to the races, man. And both of them got jobs. Maurice tried to hold out for a 6-figure job. He's like, man, I ain't taking nothing under 100. I ain't taking nothing under 100. And like I'm talking about somebody make you say 85, 90, he ain't even want to apply for it, which was funny. Because I was like, look, man, you get your first job, work about 6-7 months, get your bearings about you, get you some references, get you some experience, and then you can go out and look for another job. At any rate, he's been working for years now, and I'm real proud of him. And I remember he called me a while ago, and Marvin was like, man, I want to give back, Sub. I want to help other people. And so from time to time, I'll call him whenever I was teaching. I say, hey, man, come in and tell him about your experience and what. And he'd be like, hey, man, listen to him. I know he knows what he's talking about. And so he's the guy that, if I'm out and about, I could count on him to teach class. And so I talked to him about a month ago. I said, man, look, let's go ahead and you already taught a class last year. Like he went ahead and taught him and Lima, which is one of my other students. They taught a complete class last year. And a lot of those people wound up getting jobs. So I was like, okay. I said, well, look, man, you're doing well. I said, we're finna do data analytics. We're getting rid of the ETL piece, which is what everybody's been struggling with. I removed that. I made this easier. And I want you to head it up with Tableau, Power BI. We're going to do some SSRS and SQL. And he was like, okay, I'm on it. And so here we are today. So I'm going to introduce to everybody Marvin. What's up, Marvin?
What's good? What's good? Yeah. Like says, sorry, man. Like Sub said, I've been working for a while here. Like I said, I went through Lifting the Veil IT Academy. I think it was 2001. I want to say, yeah, 2001. I think.
You mean like 21?
Yeah, 2021. Yeah. So, did I say 2001? No, 2021, not 2001. Not 2001. 2021. Yeah, me and my brother went through the process. You know, made it through the interviews. Then after that, you know, once you make it through the interviews, you know, so gonna get your resume right. You get out there, you start applying for jobs. You know, when it came to like my brother, like when we got to that point, like it seemed like he got a job and kind of like no time flat. I don't know exactly why. I think it's maybe just luck, or it may be the fact that that he actually went to he went to the University of Alabama to study chemical engineering, and I think that people really like that uh, on his resume there. So I think that probably helped a little bit. But with me, it was a little bit more of a process there, just kind of trying to get the formula right. But once I kind of got it down there,
You don't have a degree. You don't have a degree, right, Marvin?
nah, I don't have the degree. Although I
Okay.
did study computer science at the University of Alabama, but I didn't finish. So
Okay.
I do have I do have a little bit of technical background, but I do not have a degree on my belt. So, but yeah, but like I said, but again, I want to point that out. It doesn't matter. You could not have a degree. Heck, you know, you could have a criminal record. You know, well, as long as you didn't kill anybody, obviously. But because heck, you know, we have guys that went through the program. I know one fella personally. I'm not gonna put his information out there, but hey, man, me and him, we chop it up. You know, every once in a while, he know who he is. Like, hey, he landed a gig not too long ago. He called me saying, "Hey, man, you know, like this happened back this long ago. You know, heck, they called me for the background check, man. You think it's gonna pop up? You think it's gonna be an issue?" I'm like, "No, bro, just I think you good, man. I think you're gonna be all right." And yeah, and like you know, I said even he got a gig, man. So you can really you can really, you know, like something like this is really possible. You can really, you know, come through, you know, do something like this and come out the other end really in a better position, to be honest. Because yeah, like before, I took the like lift in the veil, like again, I was kind of on and off at university, working like the odd gig here and there. I would work with my brother sometime, my older brother Tim, because he has a little like cleaning service here in town. I think he had like a couple spots he was cleaning, like he was cleaning like the local like Ford dealerships. I would do that at night, stuff like that, just get a little bit of cash on the side. But you know, it wasn't really, you know, it wasn't really nothing, man. You know, money wise, it was nothing you could really sit there and like, you know, make any moves or kind of live comfortable. It's just kind of like getting by, you know. And that's kind of like the case for most, you know, most especially black folks, man. That's really the case for most black folks out here. You kind of just really just getting by. But luckily, hey man, I came across Sub. I don't know how I don't remember how I came across Sub. I think actually my brother Maurice may have came across Sub. That's how I learned about him. And like you said, Sub just started this thing out on a whim. I think Maurice had just like something had happened to the job. He's working at some plant here in town, and something had just happened on the gig, and then he was just like fed up with it. He was like, "Hey man, that's it. I quit." He told my dad at the time, you know, hey, my dad was in support of it, of him quitting, because I forgot exactly what happened, but something dirty happened. He was like, "Hey man, you know, we're just gonna go all in on this." You know, we're gonna go all in on this and try to get this, you know, trying to get this tech thing down. And yeah, like I say, it really just pays off.
And let me say one thing, guys. So a lot of times you may have a job and it may be paying well, um, and you may not want to leave that job, but you hate it, right? And but you're no,
The
but you
internet's
know,
taking you away. Say it again. Wait, Sub, say it all over again. The internet like boop for a second.
oh, okay. I'm saying some of you guys, if you're listening, some of you may have a job that you have to keep, but you really don't like it, but it pays well. But you know you can't leave that job because you have tenure, you built up time, and now your rate is where you want it. You're doing well for yourself. And so you're like, yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, I don't like it. Yes, I'm stressed out. Yes, I'm tired of getting in traffic and being stuck in traffic for 2 hours a day, an hour going and an hour coming back. Life is short, man. You know what I'm saying? So if you add up that 8 hours you spend at the job, the 2 hours you spend going to work, especially if you live in like in Atlanta or some city where there's traffic, the commute, by the time you get home, get settled, if you have kids, how can you give your kids the best time they need, right? Like my son he goes to a Christian school, and they have like chapel on Fridays. We're able to go. I'm able to, my wife, she doesn't work. I'm able to sustain the whole house off my own money that I make by myself.
You're balling.
So what I'm saying is, guys, I tell my students this too. Every one of my students, I tell them, man, get you 2 jobs. And you can easily get 2 jobs. Now, the reason this class is going to be unlike a lot of other classes we do, and we did it in January, but this time I want to come back and I want to talk about it this way, guys. This is the easiest. And that's why I'm glad I got Marvin here to validate what I'm saying, because Marvin took it the other way. He took it the hard way. This is the easiest opportunity that we have to get into IT. All you have to learn is the SQL coding language. And from there, we can guide you. I can let you listen. I played an interview last night for the other data analytics class that's coming to an end now. And they understood every question. They knew the answers. I had one guy was like, man, I could have got this job. I mean, every question she asked, I knew the answer to. Right? I gave them the answers the second week of class. Guys, the second week of class, you get interview questions. I give you a list of questions that has been compiled over the years of me going out here, getting interviews and blowing up, messing up, having to look up the answer after the interview. I write all that stuff. I give you guys those answers. When you're looking for that recursive CTE, you already been there. So when I had a student that they asked that question to, the exact question that I gave them, they asked him that question, and it was supposed to have been a gotcha question, right? But because I've been through it, now this guy has no experience at all, but because I've been there and I've been through it, I gave him the answer. And so he said, man, as soon as they said that, man, my eyes lit up. And I went into detail how to give them the answer to the recursive CTE, to pull back all the grandparents. It was some other way of doing it, but it was basically along those lines. I gave them the code. We went through the code. We reviewed the code. So when you get on the interview, you can explain that answer like in depth, right? And what that did was they were so impressed with this guy. He got a senior level position. This brother's making like over 100. I don't know what, but it's 100 and something. First job. Now, am I saying that's going to happen to everybody? No. But what I can tell you and what I can guarantee you, number one, you'll get an interview. You will get interviews if we put your resume together. They're going to call you. That's one. Secondly, when you get in these interviews, you will be competent enough to know what they're talking about. Third, if you save and record that interview, which is what we do at Lifting the Veil, we can review it. And if we can review it, we can fix your flaws. So you may be scared. You may be watching and listening to this saying, well, how am I going to be able to really hold my own as a developer or as a data analyst when I don't have any experience? I don't know anything. Or some of you got, and I always ask my students this the second week of class, they always say stuff like, I'm scared because I don't think I'm smart enough, or my parents. So one guy said his parents told him, these white folks ain't gonna let you get a job, and racism and white people this and white people. Listen, man.
Wait. Sub. This is why I tell people, when you start new projects, you start new classes, don't run and tell your family and friends. Wait till you get a week or two under your belt. You're more confident to respond. Then you tell them, oh, I've already been working on this. I've already been in some phone calls. I've already been in some interviews. People are already blowing up my email right now for work. And now your parents ain't got no choice but to support and be quiet.
And that's it, guys. We could get you an interview. The thing is, you need to know what you're doing. We need to know how to set you. You need to know how to record that interview and come back. And this is why we're talking about mentorship today. Because, guys, if you don't have that person, there are plenty of boot camps you can go to, and they'll teach you some skill set. Can you call the guy, the Indian or the Asian or whatever person that taught you, and you say, hey, man, can you listen to this interview and tell me where I messed up? No, there's nobody that does that. We do that because we believe in giving you the full nurturing, because especially as African Americans, guys, we don't have years of tech experience in our families, right? It's not like my dad worked at Hewlett Packard back in the 70s or something, right? Or my older brother or sister graduated in 1990, and I technically that was my situation. But even with my brother was an accounting major and talked his way into Oracle. I mean, that was a feat in and of itself. But my brother had like a 3.9 GPA. I mean, brilliant, right? And so it's not a shocker that they took somebody with that type of pedigree, and they gave him an opportunity. He went out to Oracle University out there in Palo Alto and was trained, and came back and started working as an Oracle financials consultant. And that's when I got introduced to it. And I was in college at the time. That's how I found out about it. And so now what's going on is, because I found out about it, I've went out and tried to help other people, because I remember the hell I caught trying to get into it. The reason I got locked up in Atlanta with those tickets was because I was coming to Atlanta to enroll in a program called the Workforce Investment Act, which is where they give you a $5,000 voucher for any class you want to take. And I found a company. I was going to give them the voucher over there in Cobb County. They said, Cobb County Health Department or whatever, Human Resource, whatever. They were going to give me the voucher. I was going to go and so I had a plan. And then I was going to go in and I was going to learn, and then I'll be ready to go look for a job. Right. And it didn't work out like that. I got down to week 10. First of all, they didn't let me qualify for the Workforce Investment Act because you have to be unemployed 90 days, number one. Secondly, I worked out a deal with the guy that's the owner of the place, and he said, look, man, you sign a contract and you can pay me for X amount, you got to pay me for 24 months, 10% of your salary. But I was so broke, I was like, okay, cool. Because I'm thinking, man, if I get $90,000, I ain't worried about paying him $9,000. That's a lot of money, actually, but $9,000 a year. So he's going to get $18,000 from me for just me sitting in there while he was talking and learning, right? But I thought it was worth it, right? And long story short, I got stopped by the police, and that's how the rest of it got, went down the pipe. I was in Atlanta with a suspended license. And so the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of people out here, y'all struggling financially. You don't know what you're going to do. You need somebody to help you. You need somebody that's been there, that's fought all these different stereotypes and ideas in their head. It's not even stereotypes when it comes to IT. And I'm going to let Marvin talk about this. Oftentimes in IT, you think in your mind, when you first got in there, I was thinking, man, these people they don't think I'm stupid because I'm black. These people they gonna do this, they gonna do that. Man, these people don't care. These people in these IT organizations, not just IT, but any organization, like Best Buy has a tech department, right? Waffle House has a tech department. So don't think Silicon Valley, right? I live in Atlanta. I work for a company that's in healthcare. You would never think healthcare you would never think tech when you think of the company, one of the companies I work for, right? And the other company's a bank, but you don't think bank. When you see bank, you don't think tech, right? So those are the two companies I work for. Well, guess what? Those companies basically hired me, and when I came into the department that I'm working in, these people, first of all, do not care about your race. They don't care about any of that. What they care about is if you know how to code, if you're competent and you know what you're talking about. Am I right, Marvin?
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah, like my first gig that I landed with Amgen, the pharmaceuticals company. I worked for the maintenance department, and it's really a situation. I'm coming in there, and first they brought me on to help like develop a couple like tableau reports for them, see if it was something they wanted to use moving forward. So I was kind of like the I guess what you would say, like it's the subject expert for that particular like platform, whatever. And I'm coming in onto this team, and of course, and as black people, like you're gonna probably find yourself being the only one on the team. Just gonna warn you right now, unless you unless you live for work like in Atlanta or something like that. But for the case, that's been the case for me. Like I've been the only one on the team. But in that situation, it was interesting because again, like I was coming on there, and everybody else on the team, they were like, what was it like? They were like managers or, like work order coordinators. Like they weren't like technical people. To be honest, I was really the only person on the team that actually had like an actual kind of an actual technical background. And like this is my first gig, coming out of the academy, whatever. And I'm, I guess when it comes to like again, when it comes to the technical side of it, like, hey, I'm the smartest person in that group when it comes to, I guess SQL and working in Tableau. Like I'm the guy. And I tell you folks, like when you get a gig like that, you get in that type of situation, like, yeah, you can be nervous at first, but once you kind of get settled in, you like, man, this is easy, bro. I'm not really do. And let me tell you, and it was a good gig. It was a good
And take
easy.
in mind, you was working at home too. It's not like you
Yeah,
went into an office. Yeah.
yeah. I was working. Yeah, Angie and I was working for their what is that? Their West Greenwich, I think. Uh, Darn, what do you call it? Their West Greenwich, I guess, plant or whatever. And that's all the way up in there, what, near New York? I think it's New Jersey, somewhere in that area. I can't recall, but yeah, I was working from home, man, just making money, and yeah, it was one of the easiest. Yeah, it was one of the easiest. Yeah, it was one of the easiest things, gigs I've ever had in my life. It was super comfortable, making decent money, and yeah, I didn't really have any complaints.
I mean, guys, the thing is what we're
Yeah,
saying when I talk about lifting the veil. What I'm basically saying is, all you have to do is learn a skill set that's going to put you in a situation where you're able to really be in charge and control of your own life. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. And that's what I'm saying, guys. You a lot of my students haven't really, had any experience. A lot of people, I take people that from all walks of life. I mean, people that don't even have college degrees, people that I talk to school teachers, I talk to truck drivers, I talk to whoever, people that work in factories. I talk to people from all different walks of life. And so I'm just letting you guys know that as time goes on, you'll be able to understand competently what these companies are talking about, what they're referring to. And guys, if I'm giving you the interview questions, it's really the cheat code. Literally 3 students that Marvin taught last year, actually near the end of the year, all 3 of them got a job with the same company. And what was funny was they were all already set up by each other. They already knew each other. Everybody was kind of, everybody was friends with everybody. Everybody kind of was aware of what's going on. So it wasn't a situation where the students were completely left hanging. They all knew what was going on. So, they were able to kind of help each other out. Hey, man, this is the interview. This is what they're going to ask you about. That's what we do. We don't. And this, I'm going to tell you something. I learned this from Indians, man. A lot of Indians, what they do, they have these things called brain dumps. And what they'll do is they'll have, like, for example, say a certification test. They'll have some guy take the certification test. He may fail. He'll try to remember 13 questions, 12 questions. The next guy come in, he'll take it. And before long, you go in bodies. They have these brain dumps in India. All you got to do is study the questions within the brain dump, and you'll be competent enough to be able to pass the interview questions. So it's not like you're just stuck in a situation where you're going in there flying completely blind. And even if you are, let's say you have never heard anything from this particular organization. We don't have anything. SQL has a certain amount of constructs within the language. You learn the SQL constructs, that's about 70% of the interview. I'm telling you right now. And I've interviewed with a lot of companies. I'm talking about reporting, ETL, database administrator. It all boils down to SQL. It's real simple. The more SQL you know, the more competent you seem to these people, the more they're willing to trust you. Well, guess what? That's something we train you on. By the time you're at the end of the class, you're pretty comfortable with SQL. Am I right, Marvin?
yeah, that is the truth. Like, yeah, once you learn SQL, like that's the key. Because again, yeah, like Sub said, like, yeah, that's 70%. Like the other percent, I would say is probably this, having some kind of background story kind of put together, kind of, what you do in the day, which again, we can help with that. And then the rest of it is just, I don't know, I guess I guess asking the right questions at the end of the interview. What's the first, 30, 60, 90 days look like? Hey, what's a typical project look like? Things like that. It's really good questions so that, even if you don't get the gig, I look at it like if you get an interview, you don't get the gig, like you'll get information. Like they'll say some really good information that, hey man, like, okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I can take that to the next interview. Because I've done that. I've done that several times. I'll ask them the questions, especially like what a typical project looks like. That's the number one question I always tell people. Hey, ask that first, and tell them to give them as much detail as they are willing to give. And you write it
See,
down.
that's what I'm talking. That is priceless, brother. Because guess what? That's something you had to learn by going out there and getting an interview and learning what you get. What I'm saying? We talked about it. I think you put your own spin on it. Everybody does. You don't put your own spin and show your own personality. But everybody that does this, we have a mentorship program where we're able to mentor and teach and guide you guys down the right path as to what it takes to be successful, right? And if somebody is let's say somebody is a professional basketball player, let's say an NBA journeyman, and you a guy coming out of high school, you would probably be a lot better of a basketball player if you spend every day working with that NBA player than you would if you just play pickup, right? And learn the old-fashioned way, just running up and down the court. The guy that put the time in with the mentor, he's already 15 years ahead of you. He already knows when you go through the lane, this is what they're going to do to you. When you want to get your shot off, this is how you do it. When you want to not get ripped, this how you. So you spend the time getting in that camp so you can learn what to do and what not to do. So now you can play at a more mature level with better talent, right? Even though you're a rookie. And that's what I'm explaining to you guys. You can get mentorship. You can't get mentorship from anywhere. I ain't gonna say anywhere, but you can't get it. And if you do get mentorship, you're probably going to pay quite handsomely for it, from my past experience. And so I want you guys to understand, man, we've been here for years. We've been doing this. We're consistent. I do this because, first of all, I love black people. I want to see black people succeed. But just in general, I'm a people person anyway. I'm not just saying this just because I'll only teach black people. We've taught Latinos, we've taught whites, and, we've taught people from different races, cultures. So we don't really care, right? It's not about, oh, man, this is how you look at it from a black perspective, or thinking from an idea that, hey, man, white supremacy is this, and so they won't let you get this. And one of the first things we do in the class, we have to deal with your psychology the first week and understanding how to approach this in the right perspective. Because if you don't, what will tend to happen, you'll give up psychologically. You'll start thinking, man, I can't win. There's no way I can beat these people. There's no way I can hold my own with these guys because they're so far ahead of me and they're so intelligent. Or you have these demons in your head like, hey, man, these people white and they racist. And so what make you think they're going to let you in? They going to no. Just about every student I've ever had, and most people in IT will tell you, black African-Americans in this space will tell you that is of little consequence. Have I ran into some people that may have been racist? Probably. But guess what? My checks cleared every Friday. There was nothing they can do, even if they let you go. And this is the beautiful thing about what we offer. We're giving you a career and a skill set. We're not, you could get fired, guys. It's not like, okay, it's hinged on you getting this one job or it's a make or break situation. No, you could get terminated, which most of my students, I've only had maybe 4 terminations out of all these years we've been doing this, right? At least that my students at least finish their projects because we give you enough stand power to be able to hold your own. And when they want to escort you out like you don't know what you're talking about, right? But even after you get terminated, guys, the beautiful thing about it is you'll be able to identify job opportunities, seek them out, and be able to obtain them. and hold your own in these spaces because you know what you're talking about. After the second job, it's like riding a bike. Really after the first job, but the second job solidifies the confidence because people sometimes, I've been dealing with this for years. People, oh, I just got lucky. No, you didn't just get lucky. What I said actually works. It works. And I'm telling you, within 3 weeks of taking this class, you will be able to listen to an interview and competently understand, or at least say, you know what, I'm familiar with what they're asking. I'm familiar with that. I understand what she asked him. I can't believe that. I only been here 3 weeks. And we got that's why it takes 3 to 4 months. That's how long I do the class. We're probably going to go 4 months. The reason being, we want to make darn sure you know SQL. Now, the class is only $297 a month for just the this class that we're offering, right? But if you want to be enrolled in another class at the same time, we have a different enrollment, which is like $467 a month, and that allows you to enroll in multiple classes at once. So what I want you guys to understand is this is an opportunity for you guys to really get into a skill set that pays very well. And you don't have to. Now, let me explain something about this. We're going to teach SQL. We're going to teach Tableau, Power BI, and we're going to teach SSRS, SQL Server Reporting Services, which is a bit more of an antiquated system, but it's good. The reason we teach you that is because that is what a lot of companies still are using. And, you know, there are companies using COBOL right now, right? Not that we're teaching COBOL, but I'm just saying, if we were teaching COBOL, you could make money. There, C++ is from the 60s, and people are still using it today. So yes, you know, certain things, certain technologies do become antiquated and old, but guess what? Companies still use them. Mainframe computers. Go try to find a mainframe computer guy that understands mainframe computers. First of all, he's probably going to be in his 50s and 60s, and he's probably going to charge you an arm and a leg, right? Because not everybody understands that, right? You can find somebody that knows C# and .NET, but find somebody that understands assembly language, right? Find somebody that understands, you know, mainframe, understand how to work within a mainframe. Most people, a lot of people don't know that because that's old. That's something they don't even teach anymore. Those skill sets, alongside the new skill sets of Power BI, Tableau, and also knowing SQL, will make you marketable to a laundry list of companies. And so you don't have to worry about now. And I guess one question the students might ask is, well, what does the first jobs pay? What can I look for once I take the class? Because that's the number one question they always call me and ask. Well, what you can look for if you take the class is for anywhere around $50. That's the going rate. Usually what I tell my students, aim for $50 an hour. You probably will get that. But if you don't, you'll be close. 40, 45, you know. Sometimes you'll see a $35 an hour job. Sometimes. But for the most part, and I tell my students, take it. If they offer you $35, take it. But that's not it. That's not the $50. Yes, it's not $50, but guess what? My first job was like $35, something like that, $35, $40. By the time I worked 8 months later, I was on another project. I was making like 90,000. I went from like 70,000 to 9. So I made a $20,000 jump in like 7 months of experience.
Bill.
Worked that job. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Bill. So there was a guy, he works for HUD Housing or something to that thing. He was saying how he was telling the lady, hey man, they pay like, $35 an hour. You should go over here to this company starting out. And she was like, that's no money. And he's like, but ma'am, you're on Section 8. You're in a no money position. So sometimes even hearing $50 an hour, people are like, well, it depends. You guys, $50 an hour is $8,000 a month. If 75 million working Americans are making $30K a year, I don't want to hear anybody arguing about, well, they only offered me $50 an hour. That's actually amazing comparison to most companies starting you out. So I just wanted to kind of like put it in a kind of step back. People hear these crazy numbers in tech, 350,000, 250,000. Yeah, those people have been in the game a minute. But 50 is a great place to start. But go ahead and continue.
Well, even okay. So let's say $50 an hour. Let's say you get the $100,000 job, right? Is that a death sentence? No. First of all, $100,000 for me. I'm sorry, that was a lot of money for me. Coming from making $13.50. So I quadrupled almost. I pretty much quadrupled my income. Number one. But secondly, all you got to do is work that job for about 6-7 months, get a rhythm, understand what they want you to do, what they require of you. Guys, one of my jobs, I meet at 10:30 every day. We talk for 15 minutes, and that's it. I don't talk to anybody else the rest of the day. The other job, we will talk like once a week on Tuesdays at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll have a little meeting and talk for about an hour. And really, they up there cracking jokes. And that's it. So take in mind now, you got one job that's I'm making, $140,000 on. I got another job where they're paying me $70 an hour. So that's $2,800 a week, plus my original mainstay job that I have that's paying $140. So that's roughly about almost $5,000 a week. I mean, I don't even do the exact number, but that's what it is. Now the other job pays on the 1st and 15th, and then the other job pays every Friday. I pay all my bills with the $2,800. The rest of the money just piles up, guys. This is the life that I've been living for the last 3 years. I at first I had one job and I was comfortable making 140. I was good making 120, 130, different jobs, different companies. That was what I've been doing for years. And I said, you know what? I want to make more. Two ways you could do that. You can move up the ladder, which a lot of times may be more difficult. Or you could just get another job. You work at home. Who cares? Long as you get the job done. And these companies do not care. They will send you a laptop. You log into that laptop, you will be able to do your job and work for these companies and these organizations. That's the difference, guys. I don't see a lot of people making 200 and some odd $1,000. I don't see that many people making what a dentist makes, or certain doctors. Not all doctors, but certain doctors don't make but 250. Family practice doctors, those doctors make around 250. The doctors that really make the money is the plastic surgeon, neurosurgeon, people like that, oncologists. Those are the ones that make all the money. But when you want to talk about making anywhere close to 270, 280, 250, you can do it. Guys, last year for about 3 months, I had 3 jobs. I know you're like, oh man, you greedy.
Daggone Skippy. Work your money, make your money, and put it where you want to put it.
Yeah, that's how I'll take it. If you're remote, take work 2 jobs. What's up, Journey? That's what I'm saying, guys. You could work 2 positions easy, guys. It's not like man, you crazy. That's a lot of work. No, man. All you got to do. Let me tell you something. When you work an 8-hour shift, you'd be amazed what people expect from you. You train them on what to expect from you. If you work 8 hours, first of all, you're gonna be at home, so you're watching TV. I'm just keeping it a buck. You got your TV on. You ordering Uber Eats. You taking an hour break, running to the gym, exercising. You on the phone. You're texting. You doing all types of stuff. So throughout the day, you may actually only work about 3 hours anyway. If we keep it a buck, all the work that most people do can be summed up in 3 hours of actual work. And most of that is done before 1 o'clock. By 1 o'clock, after like 1 o'clock, you might have a meeting. You might be on the internet kind of lollygagging a little bit, but you ain't really seriously working like you were when you first started at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, because you want to be prepared for your meeting the next morning at 10:30, right? If you got a meeting at 10:30, you get up at 8:30. You want to work those first 2 hours, then you might work a couple hours after that to make sure whatever was said in the meeting you went ahead and fixed. Rest of the day, you chilling, man. There have been days I just log off. Let's like on a Friday, man. We log off 2 o'clock. Don't nobody say nothing. 2 o'clock, we log off. And
That's crazy.
I'm talking about don't even no PTO, none of that. You just knock off. Ain't nobody saying nothing to you. All right, man. Have a great weekend. I'm talking about 1:30.
Have a great weekend, Bill. Have a great weekend.
I'll see you Monday. I'm like, God dang, man, it's 1:30 on a Friday. And then guess what? That allowed me to get another job. I was like, man, these people don't talk to me, but like once or twice a day for like 10, 15 minutes, man, I could get another laptop.
Yeah.
So guess what I did? And that's what I tell my students. But guys, I don't advise that at first. I advise you to get one job, work it, get comfortable, then obtain another one. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. I want to just do a quick little butt in here. You guys, listen. Bill is one of the most consistent people I know, giving up the game, telling you what's going on, and people will be like, "Oh man, that's not possible." It's totally possible. I just have so many friends in tech here in Austin. You know, I call them on Friday. I call them on Monday. They barely at work. They barely at work. I got one friend today. He's got 10 weeks paternity leave. Before that, he had 12 weeks, but this is his second child in a 2-year window. So they said, well, we can't give you 12 weeks. Again, we can give you 10. How many of y'all out here are men getting 10 weeks off paid relief paternity leave? It don't happen. But that's in tech. And so when people sit here like, well, Ericka, everybody can't code. I'm like, y'all, there's so many different companies, so many different opportunities, so many different ways to roll with this. Like, I'm telling you, when I bring on Bill, when I bring on our Tech Tuesday people, this is why I do it, because we have most people in our community crying about working on Friday. Baby, it's beautiful jobs out there, beautiful opportunities. But go ahead.
Yeah, and that's
All right.
yeah.
Go
Let me
ahead,
say that's really what Sub said. That's facts. Like when Friday rolls around, like I may meet with my manager that morning. We talk a little bit, and then after that, you know, I'll do a little bit of work, and then after that, like I'm done for the day. You know, that's my weekend starts early Friday afternoon. But you know, because like
that's been most projects I've had where you get a job when you first there, you're trying to make a good impression. Well, guess what, man? They're gonna probably let you shadow someone. They're not gonna like. This is the biggest fear that a lot of students have. When you get a job, I get this call from everybody. Not everybody, but a lot of students, right? They say, okay, they walk you in, and you're like, oh my God, they're gonna give me something super hard, and I'm not gonna understand it, and it's gonna be like Chinese, right? And that's never happened. First of all, the first 2 weeks, you're probably waiting on your laptop. You're waiting to get all the software installed. It never fails. You don't have all the access. You don't have all the databases. You don't have anything. Then you gotta find, once you get everything installed, which take in mind, that has taken me upwards of a month before. I've been working on a project for a month and couldn't do nothing because nothing was right. I've had it happen, right? Now they didn't already paid me $12,000 just sitting there chilling, doing nothing at home. I've had that happen, right? Then by the time you get that, now you're getting introduced to everybody. It's okay now. We're not going to just throw you to the wolves. What we're going to do, we're going to probably give you a couple of easy wins. So this is going to be so and so. You're going to work closely with him or her or whoever, and so you get that person. Y'all kind of get a cool relationship. Once you get away from the main stand-up Scrum meeting, people kind of tend to want to level with you. Look here, man. This is what you need to do, man. Do this, do that. If you have any problems, reach out to me. This. All I'm gonna do right now, I'm not gonna give you anything difficult. I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And it'll be something that's on your resume 9 times out of 10 that they know that you already know, something that we taught you. So when you jump in there, you're already comfortable because we done been working with you. We done interviewed you in such a way to know that you know how to, and stuff you've done memorization. Because you're not passing my interview in memorization. That's why I said Marvin, he had interview questions for SSIS, but he couldn't pass my interview because I knew to ask him real how-to questions. I'm not going to ask you, see, in a real interview, they won't do that. They'll ask you those questions that you can memorize most of the time. Right? It's a lot easier. But when you come through Lifting the Veil, what we try to do is tell me how to do this. What steps would you take? Okay, which constructs would you use? If I'm trying to do this, which constructs would you use within SQL? Or if you're trying to, all right, I got a package and it needs to do this, and this. What would you do? What first component would you grab? And once you get inside the data flow, tell me about which which component within the data flow you're going to use and which transformation you're going to use and how are you going to set up that? Okay, well, what about your connection managers? And you got to tell me everything. You got to tell me how to do it. And if you don't, you fail. Why do we do that? We don't want you going out there without us and being learn SQL. And I've had a student that learned SQL and couldn't get the SSIS piece. That's why we got rid of it. Because there was a lot of people were quitting because they couldn't pass my interview. And I was like, well, I don't want to stump people and ruin their confidence. Once you learn SQL, most people can learn SQL. Just about every student I get can learn and pass my SQL interview. The problem is they couldn't pass my SSIS interview. Well, now that's gone. That is gone, guys. You know what I'm saying? So now you don't have that problem. Now, what you're looking at right now on the left is the one, that's the one where you sign up for the data analytics class. If you want to take multiple classes, you can pay about a month at $457, or you could just do the annual, that's for like a year worth of access, 12 months. You can get access, and that's it. So that's it. What's up, Mary? Mary says she's about, they in data analytics. I was in there last night teaching Power BI. We're creating reports, and that's it. And that's it, right? He says these jobs have high work periods and then chill periods. That's the thing. So she's saying she's in my data science classes. It's tough at times, but I've learned so much in just a month. Exactly. Guys, let me tell you something. Man, they make this seem so freaking hard. Like, oh my God, man, you got to go to college and take coding for 30 years. You got to code and you got to go and pay for 4 years before you could ever come and try to sit for an entry-level $50,000 job, right? That's a lie, man. These colleges and universities have fooled people, man. All you got to do, when my son gets up a certain age, I'm going to teach him everything I know. I'm going to put him in all my classes, and I'm going to make darn sure by the time he's 18, he go get a job making 100, 200,000 without blinking an eye. And the reason I would do that is because, guys, you do not need college anymore. Most of my students have high school diplomas. Most of them. The ones that's working, high school diplomas. They don't even put it on their resume. They say, I didn't finish. It's a lot of black people that went to college and didn't finish. They may put it on their resume. Some of them don't put nothing on, because guess what? We're going to put some other stuff on your resume so that these companies will want to talk to you. Say, okay, well, look like you know what you're talking about. Okay, tell me how you do this. What is this? What is that? And guys, we listen to real world interviews. We don't listen to no fake Milli Vanilli interviews, right? We listen to real interviews. Go ahead.
I was going to say, in the far right, it says 2697. What is that? What is that membership?
Okay, so that right there, the one in the far right, what that does is that is basically access to anything we offer for the next 12 months. Whatever I have, you want to get, we got a Salesforce engineering class coming up. So we're going to go through, we're going to go from platform builder 1 all the way up to being a Salesforce engineer. We're going to do that.
Right. So anybody who gets the annual membership, that's one-time payment, right?
Exactly. And then once you come back after that, say you want to do, okay, the next month, after that's over, you decide I'm taking this class, but then he got another blockchain, which blockchain was a big hit. People love the blockchain.
Y'all loved it?
Oh, yeah. We're going to do another blockchain in probably July.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you might want to jump into Salesforce and say, okay, that's on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I want to learn blockchain. So, okay, you could do that, right? You could do that. You could stagger it. Or you could, say, I'm going to just mismatch whichever. I might want to go hop in the class that's already going over here for data analytics and learn, okay, they're about to do Power BI. Okay, I'm going to come learn that. Then I'm going to get, so you could be learning so many different skill sets within this organization. My job is to go out here. I'm trying to get DevOps. I'm trying to get every skill set I know that pays substantial income. That's what we're teaching. We teach $100,000 skill sets. That's it. Thanks, Goddess. We teach $100,000 skill sets. We don't teach low-end skill sets. It's a waste of time.
So you said on Monday, Wednesday, you're teaching right now currently.
Well, no, I don't technically. Yeah, right
now.
Just
tell me the class. The class.
Yeah, I'm finishing up data analytics myself, but that was actually started out by Lima, and she did most of that class, and me, and I would help sometimes, and then Marvin would help me out. We worked out like one day a week, and then we kind of took over after she stopped. After that, she, once she stopped working, then what we're doing now is we're transitioning over to finish up Power BI. Once we finish up Power BI, we're done. Now, once you're done, I unsubscribe you. I don't want to take no money out of nobody's account. I ain't with that. I'm not that type of guy. I unsubscribe everybody.
Stops.
But what I do, once I unsubscribe you, you still have my cell number. You still have a free once a week class. I give you the link. You click the link. You come in there once a week for free. If you ever took my class, click and you make it to the end, I'm going to give you this link. I go live, that's interview night. So if you're going to interview, I don't charge a dime. If you pass my interview, I put your resume together for free. I don't charge you a dime, right? When you go on an interview and you fail, I review that interview with you when you record it for free, and I don't charge a dime. I'm never going to charge. That's what I do. That's a mentorship. This ain't about the money. Once you pay for the class, 3 to 4 months, however many months the class is that you're taking, that's it. Now, if you want to keep coming back for a year, which is, to be honest with you, I think it's smart, because in my mind, I think if you take a year-long class, you could take so much. And, let me see if I can log in and show you. So let me show you. I'm going to show you how it works, because a lot of people come to the website. Once you sign up, because let me share my screen for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead. Let me remove this real quick.
All right, so
okay, I removed it. Go ahead.
All right, so one thing I want you guys to look. Oh man, let me log in right quick. Sorry,
I'm gonna hide it. Go ahead. Log in.
It's saved anyway. I'm in.
Okay.
So once you log in, it'll have your name up here, but you only log in after you sign up, right? If you don't sign up, when you click access classes, it'll take you to plans and pricing. So if you want to access the classes, once you sign up and you enter your password and you paid the $297 or whatever package you chose, you click access classes, it'll redirect you to the classes that we offer. So if you do the dual enrollment, you can do blockchain. If you want to do data science, you behind. You want to do Salesforce, you way behind. We starting over on data analytics again. So this will be, I'm gonna move this probably to the top.
But how hard is data analytics in comparison to the other
it's
two?
the easiest class I got, man.
That's what you said. Look, scroll back down again. You had Salesforce, you had all kind of stuff up there.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I click, let me click access again. So
okay,
this is the easiest class we offer, man. I'm not trying to say that.
Wow,
that is the easiest class we offer, because you don't have to worry about anything, any real difficult learning outside of just learning SQL. Once you know SQL, you in there. You don't really have to worry about anything. And guys, and I guess I'm gonna ask Marvin this, if it to get him to sound off on this. Marvin, compared to what you learn and what the interview where you kept failing in the SSIS piece and all the ETL stuff and performance tuning, but compared to, we got rid of all that, right? Is this easier?
Oh yeah, this is way easier. It's 100 times easier now, the way the class is structured now compared to, when me and my brother took it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like this class right here. Oh, and the beautiful thing is that class that he took right here. You can click this and it'll re-guide you. You can take spring last year. I think this is a class I taught. So you can go watch all those classes. All of them.
So if there's a question,
go ahead.
Is it too late to join the blockchain class?
I'm gonna put it like this: you can join the blockchain class, and I'm actually learning a lot from that class myself, because I go to just about every class, because that's what we're about to go as soon as we get off here. But you're about 5 classes behind right now. We're actually you'll be about 5 classes behind. So you still could learn, but you'd have to catch up. I don't know everybody's personality. And also, if you go to the website right now and go to plans and pricing to try to sign up, blockchain is not here anymore. If you want me to turn it on for you so you can, if you really feel like you can do it, if you feel like you can catch up, I tell people the truth. If you feel like you can catch up, then I'll turn it on. You can sign up just for a month, the $297 for a month. See if you can sign up. See if you can catch up. If you can't, unsubscribe. You can unsubscribe yourself anytime you want to. Obviously, there's no unsubscribe to this one because it's an annual thing, but it's just a one-time fee. This one right here is another thing where if you want to take data analytics as well as blockchain, you want to jump in and try that. So I'm going to take the data analytics, but I want to do blockchain as well. I know I'm behind, but I want to be able to jump into that class, then take the multi-class member track. That'll allow you to be able to jump into both classes. So I've changed it now. Now, if you just want to do $297, I can turn on, I have it switched off. I can turn blockchain on for a quick second and let you sign up. So that's where we are with that. Hold on one second.
You guys, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the responses I'm getting from people that's taken his class for years now, we've had people like, oh man, subs out here changing my life. Even Quentin Jordan said subs out here changing lives. I'm loving Salesforce admin class right now, looking for the Salesforce engineer class in the future. A lot of times what I want y'all to understand is a lot of times people are like, oh, can I come later? Maybe I can do it next year. You guys want to try to jump on when I bring on teachers when they come, because people's prices go up every year. People's teaching structures changes. You want to be able to get in there while many companies are hiring. So many people are scared about hiring right now, and you shouldn't be, because companies are still looking for people with great skills. I live in a tech city, and majority of people I'm meeting are working remote. So it's really getting your foot in the door and really trying to get that information and get the skills. Because at the end of the day, if the company feels you need more education, more training, let them pay for it. Do you know what I'm saying? I really want y'all to understand. Let those companies pay for you to go to college. And y'all think that's a phantom thing, but that's a real thing. And so when Sub gets back on, I think he's still on the phone. It says,
I'm here.
when does the data analytics class
The
start?
22nd. It starts the 22nd of this month. So you got 2 weeks. We start Tuesday. The 23rd is the actual first day of class, but the 22nd, we're going to have an introduction. I'm introduce you to Marvin. We'll have everybody, we'll go around the track and see who's trying, who you are. I introduce everybody. So that allows people to see who, because you may have somebody literally around the corner from you that's taking the class and you didn't know you guys want to hook up and do a study session or something like that. You can't.
I might be in the class. I don't
And so
know.
in order, and so that's what I'm saying. If you got somebody like, there's a lot of people right here in Atlanta, a lot of people in Houston, a lot of people in Raleigh, Durham. I don't know why. I get a lot of people from North Carolina. Get a lot of people from DC.
Because they getting flooded. North Carolina getting flooded, son. There's tech jobs everywhere.
California.
House prices going up and they sitting around. At least they taking action. I'm like, if you in North Carolina, military, whatever you doing, and you got time to take this class, take this class.
I just saw rent in Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery, Alabama, one of the cheapest cities in the country. Somebody's charging $2,200 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, what, like 1,300, 1,400 square foot house?
That's crazy. It's coming. It's coming. Here's the thing, y'all. There are people pouring out of New York and California still, and other northern cities. They're used to high rent, so they come down here and go $2,500. That's great. You from Sumter, South Carolina, you like, this is crazy. And I just don't want you to miss opportunities to learn.
Even you know what? Let me say this one thing too. Everybody had a fit about the lady saying she don't want to talk to a bus driver. Let me say this. And I'm not trying to be controversial. Right?
Here you go.
But I want to say this. I know we're at the end, but I just want to say one thing. Guys, if you're a grown man and you've been out of school since you was 18 years old, by the time you get in your mid-30s, you probably should be making it about close to $100,000. You should. And if you're not, give me a call for free. Free consultation. All you got to do is come to the website. Let me show you where you go. You click this right here. Right? This is the home. Book consultation. You click that right there. It'll give you a little thing. You say book it, and then it'll give you a time frame of when you want, right? Like there's nothing left today. You click the next day. See here? All these time slots are open. So you can come in here and click these time slots and get you a scheduled consultation for free. I don't charge a dime. And I want you guys to be able to, be able to hold your own. We offer like AI. This says the new thing is also is prompt. Like that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm sorry.
We're teaching. No problem. We're teaching artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, Python, R scripting. That's what we're teaching. So as this Chat GPT thing is starting to come to fruition, guys, you're part of it. Blockchain. That's another thing. If you look at blockchain, I'm just gonna put this in your brain for you for a second. Every transaction that you see in the next probably 20 years will be done on a blockchain. That means that this is like 1991, and we're talking about getting in on Amazon, if you know what I mean. So one of the beautiful things about the blockchain class that I love with Javon goes to panels. We're going to a convention in New York. I mean, not New York, DC. He's going to be speaking on a panel. You have a guy who actually knows the actual creator of blockchain. Not only that, we're able to, he knows the people that created XRP, that created Cardano. He knows them by name. And so what we can do is you can actually be in on these discussions. A lot of times when these decisions are made, African Americans are not in the room, right? You don't know what's going to happen. But if you knew, hey, there's going to be a run 3 years ago, you say, hey, there's going to be a run on Dogecoin. You might go and drop $5,000 in Dogecoin. And now you'd be a Dogecoin billionaire. So it's some crazy, because it was a fraction of a penny. So the beautiful thing about working in the blockchain space is it's an opportunity, it's a career. You can make a lot of money, but you can also become ultra wealthy because you got your nose and ears in the space and you can see what's coming down the pipe with these different cryptocurrencies. And so that is worth the price of admission alone right there, because certain things we're talking about in this class, you don't get anywhere else. And so this is what I'm going to say. If you want to do the multiple dual enrollment, you could do that. Take whatever class you want, month by month. Or if you want to, if you're saying, well, nah, I just want to do it straight for a year, you can do the $26.97. It's $297 a month. So that's about 9 months, basically. That's what 26, that's roughly 9 months.
Yeah. He's saving you 3 months of discount, basically.
Yeah. So for 3 months, you pay 9 months, you get the rest of it free.
Yeah.
And what that, if you want to go, whatever you want to take, you can take it. Right.
Well, Sub, I told you the group I'm in, where they bought 33 apartment complexes and mobile home parks. I would say out of 600 people in the investor group, at least 520 of them are all tech people, tech job having folks with a tech job. The other 80 are business owners. So it's like when you see the power of I'm making more money, right? There's only so many cars and so many houses you can buy, you guys, right? Let's just be honest. There's so much cars, so many houses, so much money you can help your grandma with, your mama with, that all of a sudden you look up, you got excess money. That's why these people are taking these extra 2 and 3 jobs. And we had a young man at our conference that was just at the conference we did in Phoenix, Arizona. Sub, he was bored. He was like, I'm bored at my job, but I'm scared to tell him I'm bored because they might give me more work. I'm just going to go get another job instead of telling them I'm bored. So that's why I reached out to Sub. Like, this is how good Sub is, you guys. I reached out to him while I'm at a conference, asked him for tech recruiters. He gave me 3 different people's numbers and names in a 5-minute window. You guys have to be connected with people who are working the system, getting in there, because you don't want to be left behind. This is how you have investment money. This is how you have rental property money. Most of you will work a job. Not everybody will start a business. And this is one of the ways to get your foot in the door, a higher paying job.
So I see this question, Mighty Savage is saying, what's the prerequisite for the blockchain class? And should we have some programming? No. There is no prerequisite for blockchain. You come in straight cold turkey. It is built. Solidity was built for people like you and mine that have no experience. It's for the person, specifically Python is a language that's supposed to talk to other languages as well. So you're in a good situation, in a good headspace. Just about everybody that's taking that class has been saying, coming out. I mean, I listen to the class just for the wisdom. It's not even about, for me, and I'm not trying to sell it like this, but what I'm saying is I go to the class, not even if you don't learn Solidity, it's worth it just to sit there and he'll tell you, hey man, go to this convention over here. There's a guy he'll tell you names. I know the guy. In fact, I'm going to this convention. Y'all want to meet me there? We can go and I'll introduce you to him. This is the type of stuff he's doing in the class. We're not just talking about this is how you do Solidity. This is how you do Python. This is how you build your own cryptocurrency. This is how you understand blockchain, how you build out smart contracts. No, we're not just doing that. We saying, hey, even before that, when you want to go and get these connections and meet these people, this is where business is done. So it's, right now, the conference, to me, and I heard Ericka talk about this 1,000 times, I love conferences. I love them because conferences, you meet people that are like-minded. They spent money, so they ain't playing, right? And they're heading in the same direction, and we sit and talk for hours. Shout out to Ant. That's one of my homies right there. Me and
Yep.
him
Shout
talk
out
all
to
the time.
Ant. Shout
That's
out
what
to
I'm
Ant.
saying. Ant, this brother got it out the mud. Proud of him. Proud of him, man. This brother got it out the mud. Really self-taught, if you ask me. Yeah, he took one of my classes.
They in there like, put it back up, sub. Put the blockchain back up. When's the next blockchain class?
Well, okay. So I'm gonna tell you like this. Just reach out to me. I'll turn it back on for you. You can get back. You can get in today. He's in there now, but he's actually teaching right now. I'm looking at my phone.
How many more weeks of a blockchain do they have?
Man, you got like, they just started. I mean,
Right.
they just started.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, you got like probably about what, 3.5 months.
Right. So sub, on average, when I'm in your classes, after 90 days, I should be able to do what? I should be able to get an interview. I should be able to be practicing fixing my resume.
I'm gonna tell you, if you take my class and you follow directions, if we're talking about data analytics, you'll be able to get an interview. But the problem is you won't be. I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell you why. What happens is you come to class. I want everybody to have the right expectations, right? Every time you come to class, we're giving you something new that you probably ain't heard of before. Right? So you're gonna be behind. All right.
Gotcha.
Don't be like, oh my God. I talk to people on the phone, man, I'm about to quit, man. I'm 2 weeks, man. I'm 2 weeks behind, or I'm a month behind, man. I ain't got this. I say, no, you're supposed to be behind. We come to class, we lecture you for 2 hours, we give you new material, and then you're supposed to go and study. And you may not get it fast. If I give you something like, let's say I explain to you what a join is in SQL, and then you go, that may take you a week to really thoroughly understand a join. You may have to go and practice making your own joins and understanding what the result set is every time you run that join. Well, guess what? We've had 2 other classes. I taught that on Monday. Wednesday, I taught something else. Well, I'm not going to move through joins that fast. But what I'm saying is we'll review it to try to help you understand it, but you're still going to have to put your own time in. So when we get finished, and let's say we get finished at the end of the class, you're probably 2 months behind. You might be a month behind, 2 months behind. And then what happens is that's your learning curve. That's why you guys have study groups. That's why you got what we like to call mastermind groups, where you guys come together and everybody has the same goal in mind, right? And then what happens is those people come to these classes, then they come to interview night, which is free. You come to interview night on Wednesdays. I interview. Are you ready or are you not? If you're not ready, you come back to next week, right? And by the time you get through with that process, you're competent enough to really be able to hold your own with a lot of people and not just be, going in these interviews and getting shook and blown out of the water, you know?
Right. Get your practice on, interact with your other people. You go, listen, we were in Panama, sub, and one of our guests, we were like, where they at? They ain't coming in there. They're like, we in Sub's class right now. We can't leave. I'm like, you're in Panama, right? So, Sub's classes are good that people don't even want to miss them when they overseas on vacation. Someone asked, what is the normal schedule of classes? If you could try one more time.
We do 2 days a week.
2 days.
We do 2 days a week. Each class has I try to stagger them. So if a class is going on Monday, I try to have the other class on Tuesday, Monday and Wednesday, and then Saturday morning. So Monday, Wednesday, Saturday morning, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday morning. This particular class, data analytics, will be 8:00 Tuesday, 8:00 Thursday, and then on Saturday mornings we'll probably go around 11. Now, let me explain what I mean.
Is that 8:00 p.m.?
That's exactly.
East Coast time?
So you want it to be PM, yes. We do night classes, and then on the weekends we do a morning class. Because some people work at night and can't get to class. And so I say, okay, watch the reviews, come to class on Saturday, ask your questions. Because everybody can't. Your schedule, you might not be able to come in and work. That's why you might be 2 months behind when we're done. Don't quit. If you just keep chugging along, by the time 2 months after, let's say we finish the class in August, it might take you to October to be ready. But that's okay, because by the time October comes around, we get your resume ready. You're just in time for the new hires that's going to be starting in January. So you're interviewing the rest of the quarter of the year. All you got is November and December. Usually by the time a lot of students get jobs in December, because these companies are wanting to hire people for January. So that's how we do it.
Y'all get a Hallmark Christmas hiring right there. That one, the bonus, there it is. Someone said, what jobs are students able to obtain after the blockchain class?
Oh man, blockchain is a little different. Blockchain, I guess you can have a blockchain developer or a blockchain engineer. Those jobs usually you can work for like fintech companies. You can work for actual cryptocurrencies companies like Javon, the instructor, actually worked for Ethereum, and they pay him in Ethereum, and they paid him an absorbent amount, $350,000 a year, and they would pay him his check every Friday in Ethereum, right? And he which was wonderful because you get to keep that money in whatever, or you can convert it over to any other currency because a lot of currencies are based on Ethereum. They're written in an Ethereum blockchain, and so they have that, and then you have what else you could do? You can work for a lot of companies. Now, some companies pay less. Those companies that pay less, a lot of times you're probably just doing some sort of conversion over so they can start working within the blockchain. But those are most of the jobs that you can get. Is either going to be a developer, engineer, or working within these companies as a developer. They'll still call you a blockchain developer, but you'll be probably focused on converting over old legacy system so they can handle blockchain technology and functionality. Ericka, yeah.
When someone is the first job, they're getting the first job out the gate. And earlier you kind of said like 6 months, 7 months, if they got a flow of it, then they could get a second job. Because some people out here and they're like, let me see how many jobs I can get. What would you highly recommend? Because we get this question a lot about, man, I'm gonna get 2-3 jobs. I'm like, wait a minute. How long would you recommend them at their first job? How long would you recommend them to keep focus on their first job before they get other jobs? They feel like they got time.
I would have, it's a case by case thing. We have conversations. Students call me. I had a brother work the company for a year, and he was like, I want to get another job, man. They ain't paying enough. And I say, bro, let me ask you this. Do you understand your job? He's like, yeah. You work from home? Yes. I say, why quit? Just go get another job. I said, man, how many meetings a day you have? Man, I have like a hour meeting, but man, I know what I'm doing. You're going to know. I can't tell you. It might be 6 months, might be 3 months. It might be a year. I don't know.
Sure.
Right? That's a case by case thing because I don't know the business logic of all these organizations that my students are working in. So that takes, like, for example, if you work at Delta, it going to probably take you a while to be able to go get another job because Delta's system is so convoluted that people that work there don't know what they're doing. I'm just being straight up, right? And so it could be one of those situations. But as long as your manager's cool and you got a rapport with him and you getting your tickets pumped out of Jira like you're supposed to, and ain't nobody complaining, and you think you can handle that with 3.5, you say, hey man, I work 3.5 hours, I get all this stuff done. I probably gonna work another 3 hours on another job and double up. Well, then do it. That's what I say. And in fact, I've had times where I had 2 meetings side by side. And what I'll do is I've had 2 meetings, right? So I have headphones in both computers and just listen on both things. Then when they ask me my name, I mute one and just talk to the yeah. So basically, just tell what I'm doing. Then I'll mute the other one and go talk in the other one if they ask me a question. And I've gotten that. That doesn't happen often. Now that may happen once a month. That may happen most of the time. That does not happen, but it did happen a couple of times, and I was able to. I don't get intimidated anymore. So I'll do 2 meetings and laugh while I'm doing it. Like it's chilling. It's not a big deal.
So do you have a home office where you set up your doors closed? You got the high-speed internet. Your family knows not to bother you.
I'm in the bed. I roll over, grab my laptop, wipe my eyes out, and start working. That's it. I'll be in my drawers, man. I'll be chilling. I'm straight up. I don't get out the bed sometime at 12 noon for my feet hit the ground and go down there and get me something to drink. Let me go down here and get me something to drink right quick. If I want to go down and watch a movie or something, I go wrap up in a blanket on the couch, and that's it. That's my office. Laid up on the couch with a blanket, watching TV while I'm working. That's my office.
You're a wild man. wild
Shit, I'm
man.
just being straight up. Every student I talk to, that's what they say. I rarely will you find somebody that's gonna actually get out of bed 8 o'clock, go sit at a desk, and they got 5 screens, and they trying to. Man, they ain't look. As long as I get the job done, I don't care. You know, for me, man, let me tell you something, man. This, and I know you got to go, Ericka. First of all, I want to say thank you.
Listen, so many people ask for you on repeat. I want you to fully vet your questions. You guys put your last couple questions in here, because I respect their time and they on the East Coast and they got families. So again, you guys, whatever last questions you got, you better put them in here before we wrap up. But you get highly requested on the show. I want to make sure people get all their questions. Somebody can be like, you didn't answer my question. So put your questions in. But
well, let me say this.
So.
No, I just wanted to say this, guys. If you're an entrepreneurial person, which I am, I'm not an employee. I'm just not. That's not my mindset. I don't want to work for nobody, right? You probably want to work from home because that's the closest thing to working for yourself that you're going to get until you are able to. And you need to probably be making a couple of hundred or 100 or whatever so that you can probably save your money and then move into what you really want to do, whatever it may be. Real estate, trucking, crypto, whatever, right? But what I'm saying is this: don't look at it like, oh, well, you know what? I don't want to do that because I don't want to work for nobody. Like I was doing an interview on the channel, and the guy was like, "Why are you selling your soul working for the white man?" And I'm like, "I'm not selling my soul."
What?
It's pretty much, you go in, you work.
Broke Hustle Chronicles. People telling you,
Well, yeah, it was. Stuff. Shout out to Dinah Samir. I was on Dinah's channel when that was said, but that's my boy though. But what I'm saying,
out there, traveling, living his life.
That's what I'm saying. But a lot of people feel like, oh, don't let nobody tell you, oh man, you selling out by going into corporate America. No, you're not, man. Get your money, stack up. That's why you're able to go to these neighborhoods. I never forget, I used to ride through these neighborhoods and be like, man, how do these people afford $800,000, $700,000 houses? How do they do that? And it's a married couple. Like, for example, Alpharetta's full of a bunch of Indians, right? I work with a bunch of Indians. I see them. They'll work 2 jobs. The wife will work 2 jobs. They'll be making like, you know what I'm saying, $600,000-$700,000 a year. I mean, these people make that kind of money, man. I know one lady, she has 3 jobs. Sean knew her. This lady was making $370,000. She was doing 3 jobs. And all she was doing was just managing Salesforce instances. But she was real good at it. So all I'm saying, guys, is I want you guys to understand we're going to do the best we can. Everybody's not going to get a job because everybody's not going to follow directions. A lot of people going to quit. I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of people do quit because guess what? It's work. You're not going to come here and we're just going to share our screen. And in 4 months, you walk out and you know what to do to get a job and you didn't study, you didn't do nothing but just come to class. No, that has never happened and it never will. You have to study. If you're not willing to open up a book, you're not willing to open up a laptop and stroke a key a little bit to try to figure some stuff out, you're wasting your time. You're going to have to, but guess what? It's just 4 months though. It's not like we're trying to take you for a long, arduous journey, and we're not trying to get you for $10,000, $15,000 because most black people can't afford that. Not just most black people, most people in general cannot afford that type of, most black people cannot afford, and most people in this space can't afford. I couldn't, man. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford. I paid $15,000, right? I could not afford that to pay that, but I had to do it. I took out a loan with this big company. It was a hard money company, basically. They hit me for like 15% interest, and I paid it off, but still, $14,000 I had to pay to get the skill set. And come on, man. And then they was trying to get me to sign up for another piece, but then they would have got a piece of my job for like the first 2 years. They was gonna get 10% of my check. I was like, no, I'm just gonna take this other skill set because I don't want nobody taking my money. And after taxes, let's say you get a $2,000 check. It's just $200, but sometimes, man, you get tired of that. Like, man, you know what, man, I'm getting these jokers $200. They making $800 a month, and they ain't doing nothing. They did they work. They making $800 a month for the next 2 years. Do the math. You get $100,000 job for 24 months. These people making $800. Man, what's that? $20,000 they got off you?
Mhm.
18,000 for what? For a course they taught you in like 90 days or 4 or 5 months? No, we don't do that. We don't rape you like that. It's pay as you go. That's the way we got it. I do the other one so I can let you jump into multiple courses at once. If you want to do that, that's the one in the middle. If you want to do the one on the right, you can take whatever you want for 12 months. And you get my phone number, whatever you want. Talk to me. We help you with your resume. We help you with everything. Whatever class you take, that's what we prepare you to do. I would now, if you're gonna do the 12-month, you probably want to do some skill sets like, well, I ain't gonna lie, you can actually take data analytics, you can take the Salesforce architect, and you can take the blockchain class. Just those 3 right there. All those can work conglomerately together.
Mhm.
Right? I've seen jobs where that actually happens. So yeah, and if you want, and then also we got data science. Well, I mean, machine learning. All the classes, machine learning, or what is not machine? I mean, data science, blockchain, Salesforce, and data. All those classes work together. So you could take all 4 of those, and there you go. You know what I'm saying? If you get to the very last month, I ain't gonna trip about it. If you sign up for the 12-month, I'll probably put you in there for a promo. If you already started a class, you got 2 months in, you got 2 more months to go. I ain't gonna trip. Look, you can work with me, bro. You call me, talk to me, and I mean, when I taught Marvin, I was just charging $400. I taught this class for what did I do? I taught this class for about 4 years for $400 one time. You give me $400, I'm gonna teach you for 4 months for $400. That's it. And guess what? People were still calling me to my, they ain't got it, man. Can you take 100? And guess what?
Man, listen. I realize that's their favorite. That's their favorite call. Ericka, I just don't got it. And then the same people turn around and buy something for $2,000, or they buying Terry courses, or they're buying other people courses, or they're buying VIP travel trips. People have money for what they want to have money for. When life hurts enough, they'll find it.
I was gonna say the only reason that I started doing subscription was because I had people take the class. This one guy took my whole entire class and then got all his money back from his credit card, saying he didn't know what lifting the veil was. And I was so upset. I was like, dude, you took my class. I ain't charge you but $400. You took the whole class, then you're gonna get the money back. And that just I started getting screwed over a lot of times. I said, you know what? And I called you actually.
Mm-hmm.
I called you and I was complaining. You was like, why don't you just go to subscription model? So that's what I am. I did subscription. I still think this is a great value because, guys, you're not going to get all we give. I try to overpay. I give you way more than what you pay for, right? You pay for this, but we give you way more, right? That's how I've been able to grow this company, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you more than what you pay for because that's how you're successful. You solve a need. And you give people way more than what they asking you for. So that's why we make it free for you to come to the once a week free class. I don't charge, man. I have 30, 40 students on there getting ready to go out and look for jobs. I'll interview 2-3 hours sometimes on a Wednesday. I don't want to, but I will. People call me on a Thursday sometimes. Hey, man, I can't interview them. Can I interview Thursday? I do whatever I got to do, man. I built this company by just saying, what do I have an abundance of? And that was time. I said, well, I'm going to give my time. Because if you give somebody your time, I come from a ministry background. I believe in discipleship and stuff like that. That's why we're talking about mentorship, because it's the same thing, right? You look at Jesus and his 12 disciples in the 3 years that they were in ministry and how he was able to prepare them. And they basically went out and changed the world, you know? And so it comes from that, 12 ordinary men ideology that you take people and you pour into them. You know what I'm saying? There's a book called Discipleship. So disciples are made, not born. Right? So you're not going to be, there are people that are born and and I ain't going to say that because if you look at tech, what I've discovered is it's just like in the Bible, they say Samson, he told a young lad, he'd say, hey, put me in between a colonnade in the colonnade, put me between the 2 pillars so I can fill them. And when he did that, Samson tore down the whole building and killed a bunch of Philistines, right? But the thing is, he said, put me in the place where I can get some leverage. You just need leverage. You need to be able to be put in the right place, led there, and be put in the right place. And that way you can get leverage. That leverage is having the skills, knowing somebody that's already there, getting your resume, recording the interviews. We don't play fair at lifting the veil. We do everything we got to do to get to a victory. That's just real. So I want you guys to really take this opportunity. Reach out to me, 678-627-2796. Give me a holler. Text me, call me. I've been doing this for years. We ain't going to stop. We're going to keep going. And we're going to help as many people as we can. I want to thank you, Ericka, for having me on here. Thanks, my homeboy, Marvin. Marvin, you got any closing words?
Yeah, let me just say, like, yeah. Yeah, again, like I said, this is definitely like great value for what you're getting. And not only that, like not only you like paying to get this, like these different, like to learn these different technologies, you're also paying and getting access to like a network at this point of like what do you call it, of alumni that's already gone through lifting the veil. So you got like access to people like me. You got access to people the Ant who was in the chat earlier. You got access to my boy Fred, you know, who's a genius. I mean, you have so many different resources that you just like you're being tapped into that you can take advantage of. Because like, yeah, I like to give an example out, like my buddy Fred, like he taught one of the classes a while back, and I guess this lady who took the class. I guess she went through the class. She landed a gig. Then I guess she was having like a problem, like trying to figure something out. So she contacted Fred. Fred then gave her my information, and then that's how she got in contact with me. She called me. I've never spoken to this lady a day in my life. I don't know who she is. Sorry, but she just called me, said, "Hey, I took Fred's class." Fred said, "Hey, I could call you. You can help me out." I'm like, "All right, good. That's all I need to know. You know, my buddy Fred. That's you in. That's it." Hey, I pretty much just dropped what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything anyway. I think I was just chilling on the clock. I just dropped what I was doing. I was like, "All right, let's hop on the Zoom. Let's see what you got." We hopped on there. You know, boom, bada bing, whatever. Got it settled, and she was squared. She was squared away pretty much. Like I think she hit me up maybe like a week later saying, "Hey, thanks. Like that's exactly what I needed to do. Appreciate it." You know, so it's like stuff like that. Like you're not gonna get that kind of access from like a university. I'll tell you that flat out. You're not gonna get this kind of access. You're not gonna have that type of network where you can literally reach out to like anybody. And like this is a diverse group of like people with like different skills. So you really, I really want to emphasize, you really getting access to that network of professionals at this point that's really been built out, you know, by Sub as this thing been going on, you know, and this thing has really gotten to a point where like, you know, I'm impressed, you know, because like again, like me and my brother take it, like Sub was just offering just this class pretty much, and now he added on the Salesforce, the blockchain, you know, it's really getting to a point where it's like, you know, this is it. Hey, you know, hey, if you try to change your life, this is what I recommend, you know. And that's all I got to say.
For sure. Let me see any last comments real quick. And nope, you guys are in here. Listen, Journey to Jasmine said excellent beyond excellent value. Anthony Johnson said no doubt. He's always choosing the praises in the comment section. You guys, if you want to talk to Subzero, 678-627-2796. Again, if you want to call Subzero and book a consult time, I would recommend you go to the website, liftingtheveil.com, and hit 678-627-2796. Sub, man, where can they find you on this internet? And thank you so much, Marvin.
You can find me talking crazy on Subzero3639 Live. I'm just getting off suspension tomorrow. I've been suspended for 2 weeks. So I got another strike.
You need to just make another
if
page.
you go to my channel now, you'll see all my content has been removed. I only got like maybe 4 videos on there. And so I'm on Rumble, Subzero3639 on Rumble. but I don't talk as much about the tech on Rumble. I don't talk about tech as much. I'm a little, I'm a conservative, I'm radical, so I get on there and I talk and rant and rave, but at the end of the day, I love black people. I want to see us succeed. And when we come to class, when it comes to class, I don't bring my personal politics or anything like that in this. This isn't about politics. This is about empowerment. This is what this is about. So I don't come in here like, oh, you voted for Biden, you an idiot. That's why gas is $5. I don't talk about that, right? I just come into class and I talk about the things that really matter, which is you getting money in your pocket and making sure you win because you paid us to do a job, and damn it, that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna give you the best job we can give you.
Not damn, we're gonna give you a good job. Okay, so thank you so much. Listen, y'all, check out this class. He primarily offers, you go to the website, you'll see it right here. It says SQL Server Database Development, Oracle, Financial Applications, Salesforce, Data Science, Data Engineering, Data Analytics, DevOps, and Blockchain Development. All right, you guys, listen, thank you so much for being here. Read over these websites. We always put the links in the chat. Thank you for being here tonight. Bill, thank you for being here tonight. Marvin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I will look forward to seeing you guys soon again. We'll be sharing this on the community wall. Make sure you guys leave comments under this video and questions under this video so Sub can come back and answer them, or I can send them to him to answer. Thank you for your time tonight.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right, you guys, this is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog with another Tech Tuesday in the books. You guys don't miss out on the great opportunities Subzero's classes provide. I'm going to be probably in there this week. I think maybe Friday, just because I love learning from the affiliates I bring on class, what they teach, what they have to offer. You guys, I'm in a tech city. I see people's lives absolutely change 6 months to a year. I see dudes come here and be broke, and then all of a sudden now they're driving BMWs. They got a brand new house. I'm like, good gracious. Banks love seeing those W-2s. They really do. So don't miss out on opportunity to get in a good position for you guys, okay?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you,
Shout
sir.
out to Jasmine. All right.